I'm super proud of my brand new book that's just come out called Cook Ahead. It's all about freezer-friendly recipes. In fact, there's 90 freezer-friendly recipes. And this is a recipe that I had to add to the book because my freezer is never complete without some pinwheels. In fact, this is my little Louie's favourite recipe. As you can see, his little hands in there. And he loves this because he loves ham and pineapple pizzas. So this is a kid-friendly version, ham and pineapple. Can totally be controversial, particularly on a pizza, but in Pinwheels, they're a lovely little snack to have on standby in the freezer. You simply have to slice them up, pop them in the oven to cook, and they're ready to go. So what I'm doing is just grating some cheddar. I love freshly grated cheese. I don't like to buy the pre-grated cheese. I just think the flavour is much better. So cheddar for my little Pinwheels. You could also use mozzarella for this. So you want a large handful. So we'll pop the cheese to the side. And some pineapple. I'm just using some canned pineapple. We're going to cut this into tiny little pieces because we don't want big chunks in this. We need it to roll up. So finely chop the pineapple. Of course, if you've got some fresh pineapple on hand, you can use this. And there are so many different fillings that you could add to your Pinwheels. I also love roasted pumpkin and ricotta. You could do some pesto and goat's cheese is another great addition. Or forget about savoury, why not try a sweet Pinwheel? I love the addition of jam and peanut butter. You could also add some ricotta to that too. So we've got our cheese ready to go, pineapple, and then some ham. So we're just going to, again, I'm going to line this ham up, finely chop that. You could absolutely leave the ham out of this and make these 100% vegetarian. Substituting the ham for some mushrooms would work nicely, or even make them into pizza-style Pinwheels. So there's many different options there. Ham can go back on the plate. You can see there's only 6 ingredients in these Pinwheels, and the 6th ingredient would have to be some puff pastry. So I'm just going to grab that out of the fridge. I've just thawed it out. I like to keep my puff pastry as chilled as possible. It's just going to make it much easier to roll up. So keeping the blue plastic on, we'll put that onto the bottom side, and using a pastry brush, we're going to add some tomato paste. And we'll just brush that over. Just a nice thin layer. Okay. To that, we're going to add our cheese, sprinkle that over the top. And this is, of course, where you would get the kids involved and let them make their own Pinwheels, add their toppings to it. It's a really fun activity to do with them, actually. And our pineapple. So we'll just sprinkle that over. It's that iconic sweet and salty flavour that's always seems to be appealing with kids. Next, our ham, sprinkle that, just evenly distributing that. And finally, a sprinkle of oregano, just some dried oregano is fine. Okay, let's roll these up. So starting with the blue plastic, we'll just press it down to laminate that and then roll it up. And use that plastic to help you roll it, so if it does get a bit sticky, it's just easy to handle. Pressing down on it. And again. And that's our first Pinwheel done. Now, I like to use this plastic again just to wrap it up, and then to really seal it in the freezer, grab some Glad wrap. And this will ensure it stays super fresh in the freezer for up to 3 months. So cover that up, roll it, and that's ready to go. So whenever I'm making these, I make a big batch of them and have them on standby in the freezer. In actual fact, you don't want to be cutting these straight away and then popping them into the oven because they're too soft. We want those perfect Pinwheels. So I'm just going to freeze them for a couple of hours, then we can cut them and pop them in the oven for about 20 minutes or so. Have come out of the oven. I've allowed them to cool slightly and they're ready to go. They smell fantastic. They honestly smell like a Hawaiian pizza, and I assure you the little kiddies are going to love these. but also the big kids like it. I just think they're the most delicious snack. I'm gonna have a taste. I know ham and pineapple's a little bit controversial, and if I was a purist, I'd say absolutely not. We shouldn't put ham and pineapple together, but secretly, I love it.